Hello, and welcome to the April 22nd, 2022 Friday Facts and Fun session. I thought it might be interesting to share with you the presentation I will be doing at the Texas Library Conference next week so that you can see the type of thing that librarians learn from and also present. I am presenting for the Public Libraries Division, which is one of 4 divisions in TLA, about our experience as a participant in the Texas State Library's Tech Academy. I am one of 3 presenters. It's a panel presentation. So I will just give you my part of the presentation. The Tech Academy was a program of the Texas State Library that offered libraries serving populations less than 12,000 the opportunity to add technology to their library with a grant of up to $10,000, hence the title of this presentation. But it also included $1,000 for training, which we'll talk about later. So the points I want to discuss will be the Hono Public Library, first of all, since not everyone at the conference will know who we are, and then how I got started towards the academy, the questions that I had, the answers, and the learning curve I went through, the Tech Academy itself, the timeline for that, and then more about the TSLAC Tech Academy grant, about edge assessment, the immediate impact, and the ongoing results from this Tech Academy. So first, Hono Public Library has a new building, well, new at the time. It opened in March of 2017. I arrived as the Assistant Circulation Manager July 10th of 2017. Almost immediately, the Library Director left, and I moved up to Library Director in October of 2017. Because we were in a new building and that they had been working for a long time and the previous director had gotten a grant, the library had all new furniture, equipment, and a wonderful children's area with all sorts of books, toys, manipulatives, etc. for learning. So this was my starting point, but I did have some questions. Question 1. New building, new furniture, etc. Are there still unmet needs for space, for equipment, for furniture, for collections, programs, or any other need? Question 2. If there are multiple needs, how do I need to prioritize those? Question 3. What funding is available in the existing budget or locally for meeting these needs? And question 4. Where can additional funding be found, just in case there's not enough in the local budget? Do funding sources support all these needs or only specific needs? As a fairly new director, I had to answer these. And as you can see, the learning curve was kind of up and down there. It started with doing some assessment. Answer 1. We had provided some lunch and learn sessions for our Chamber of Commerce to teach local business owners about Word, Excel, how to do social media, but the library did not have a computer lab. We had public computers in the main area of the library, but there was no way to have those where we could have a class while other people were working on them. We did have 5 computers in our Barden room, which is our young adult and junior area, but our chamber classes had 8 and 9 people in them, was making it a bit of a struggle. There were also several incomplete book series, especially in our children's and juniors collections. We might have book 1, 2, 5, 8 out of a series of 12 books. So those probably needed to be looked at. In our children's area, we had no audiobooks, which are very useful for children who have reading issues, and also just in the basic learning to read process, where they can listen to the audio paired with turning the pages of the book and associate what they're hearing with the words on the page. And only a few in our junior and young adult area, 25 or less if I remember correctly. So the answer to question 2, prioritizing. My first thought is we need to do the project first that's going to have the most immediate benefit. And would that project have any additional benefits for other solutions to any other issues? I needed to make a timeline to ensure that eventually all the needs are met. Then I looked at the budget. At that time, our technology budget was not under library supervision, but was under the city IT supervision. So I did not have a lot of control over what happened with that IT budget. We did have book budget available so that we could meet our collection development needs. We did have an audiobook budget to begin addressing the lack of audio. So my solution was, let's look at grants and the sources to see what might help us meet these needs. The first thing was, as someone new to Texas, I learned about the Texas State Library and Archives Commission and the grants that were available through them. I also reviewed grants that the library had previously applied for or received, and I joined professional groups to gain their knowledge, especially about grants in this area. Grants sometimes vary from state to state, region to region, and so those professional groups were helpful to learn about. As part of learning that about the state library and talking to other local directors, I learned about the Tech Academy. So in October of 2018, almost a year after I had started, I learned about the TSLAC Tech Academy grant. It was a new grant the state had started. I read through the guidelines. The grant was actually due on October 31st. So that gave me a fairly short time frame in which to research and write the grant application. But with the help of staff, I was able to get it done. Then the board and staff proofed and reviewed it, and we submitted the application on time. On November 12th, 2018, we received notice that we had been awarded the TSLAC Tech Academy grant. Yay! But then the work began. There were multiple dates moving forward in both the training portion of and the actual grant implementation. So December 13th and 14th of 2018, myself and a staff member traveled to Austin for the on-site grant training, after which, returning to the library, we completed 6 weeks of online training, which started January 22nd. Part of that grant training was to help us decide and assess our needs and determine which projects we wanted to move forward with. And I'll talk more about that shortly. Then, as the grant progressed and we were implementing it, we had a June 30th deadline for ordering the items that we were purchasing as part of the grant. August 31st, we had to have our final technology plan turned in. We had a performance review on September 7th, and then we did a presentation to our governing authority regarding the grant, the training, and what we had accomplished with the grant on October 7th. And again, the TSLAC Tech Academy grant had 2 portions. There was training. There were 6 libraries in the first cohort, and we met at the Austin Public Library. Part of that training was a library tour, which showcased some of the technologies available, which a lot of the smaller libraries might not have been aware of. Then, both through the training on-site and online, Carson Block Consulting provided several tools to assist us in our planning. Participating libraries also brainstormed at the on-site training and shared our needs and potential ideas. Moving on to the implementation, we used those tools from the training and our EDGE assessment, which I'll talk about shortly. And Hono Public Library came up with a list of 7 technology projects, 5 of which had not even been on our radar. Further assessment allowed us to narrow those down and decide on a mobile lab consisting of a mobile charging cart and 8 laptops. With the remaining funds, we added an additional hard drive, computer locks, and 6 box coding kits. I said I would talk more about EDGE. The EDGE assessment tool is actually a management tool that was created by EDGE, part of a division of the Urban Libraries Council. And it helps guide libraries to set measurable strategic goals for digital inclusion. So it is definitely based on technology. And as we've all learned in the past couple of years, libraries need to be at the forefront of providing technology when society needs computers, internet, and other technology to move forward in a world where more and more job applications, social services applications, etc., are online, where people may need to work from home or do school from home. So the EDGE assessment helped us. I found it was the best tool that I took away from the training, and I believe it should be used periodically to evaluate your progress and also set new goals. Again, as this shows, it helps you prepare, assess, compare, and then act. So the online survey has a focus on digital inclusion. It uses benchmarks to help a library measure how they are currently serving their community and users. What is the library's position as a community partner and leader in regard to digital inclusion? And what are the library's management practices? So my Tech Academy experience takeaways are: the assessment works best if you complete it honestly and using up-to-date information. We did find as part of the process that the library had completed one in the past, but our answers did not match up. So things had changed over time. Not everything was consistent with that old assessment. Next, you need to remember that this is evaluation and not judgment. It is a means for you to look at where you are, where you would like to be, and use that evaluation to move forward. That's not to say that you cannot compare yourself with other libraries of similar size, because looking at your assessment compared to theirs may help you with guidance and ideas on how to move forward. And then lastly, the EDGE assessment gave us SMART goals planning tool, and that allowed us to prioritize the goals that we did see that would be helpful. After all, like I said, we came up with 7 projects. Prioritize, edit those goals, print them out for sharing with the rest of the staff. So the immediate impacts were that we chose to do the laptop computers and mobile charging cart, which allowed us to move our computer classes into our senior activity room for additional space to increase class numbers. Remember the problem with our 8 people trying to take a class with only 5 computers. It also allowed us to provide support for our Cyber Patriot team, which is called the Cyber Owls. Cyber Patriots is a program of the U.S. Air Force to teach cybersecurity. Originally high school students, it has been expanded. And as a result of adding the laptop computers, we developed a library logo to place on our computers. It also allowed us to get a hard drive, and the immediate impact of that was to start archiving existing library data files online to save space. And with a little bit of money that was left, we did Bitsbox coding kits and were able to provide a spring break STEAM program for our elementary children. So ongoing, the result is that with our laptops and our mobile charging cart, we've continued to be able to add and increase technology classes for patrons. We've added a middle school Cyber Owl security team, and it allows other city departments, when they need to do training, they can come in and use our laptops for that training. Of course, we do have priority. The hard drive allows us to continue converting old paper financial records, grant applications, and other data to digital form, allowing us to retain that important historical information for comparison or just simply for the history while freeing up space. And the Bitsbox coding kits, although were not able to be used during pandemic, 2020 and 2021. They are available for future programs, and we'll be looking forward to using them in 2022. Our grant team was myself as the library director and Edward Cardenas, our computer services tech library aide, with input from the rest of the 2019 library staff, the library aide Tina Leos, library aide Barbara DeRosiers, and our part-time library aide Rebecca Nelson. Here's my contact information if you have any questions about our Tech Academy Experience grant, and I'll be more than happy to reach out in any way. Thank you for your time.